Hola, hola, it's your girl Erica from America. Welcome to the Confidence Chronicles podcast. This podcast is all about helping you stand in who you are. Stop giving a fuck what people think about you. Start standing as your fully expressed self. As you are, as is, there is no filter needed. You are fucking awesome, and I am here to remind you. I'm a confidence coach, and I'm a bold stand for confidence, and I cannot wait to dig into today's episode with you. Yo, 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 mi gente, ¿qué pasa? Today's episode is a very mucho especial. I'm so excited to share this episode with you because I'm interviewing and discussing the importance of inner work in the Latina community with 5 incredible ass women who I get to call friends, sisters, and clients. They are a part of our Sisterhood year-long coaching program. They are so incredible and they have completely been transforming their lives. And many of them have a business or are a career or are coaches. And not only are they changing their lives, but they're changing their clients' lives. They're changing their families. They're healing generational trauma. I mean, they're changing the landscape of the inner work in the Latin community. And I'm really pumped to bring this episode to you because I wanted to share their story. Y la importancia de hacer el trabajo en uno mismo, to do the inner work on yourself. I called it "Se ella puede, yo puedo" because many times in the interview I was asking questions, and so many times they're like, if she could do it, I could do it. "Se ella puede, yo puedo." I'm like, yo, we got to call it that. We got gorgeous Angelica Vazquez, who is a Mexican, amazing, incredible coach. And I've got all their details in the show notes, by the way, if you want to connect with these incredible women. We got Nereyda Martinez, who's been in the Sisterhood for 2 years. She's now one of our USA moderators inside of our incredible community. Jexeda Flores, who is a beautiful coach. She works in confidence. She helps mamas realign their lives. Jexeda is also one of my ladies in the squad. She's just so incredible. Janice Torres Rodriguez. Oh my God, Janice. She's been on the podcast many times. She is the founder and boss lady at Yo Quiero Dinero podcast. She's just such a beautiful soul, and she helps women, Latin women, with money mindset. And Janice has a sister in the Sisterhood, Leanne, who is the next level, incredible, hype chick. She is just the best. She joined the Sisterhood, completely killed it. She's done the work. She's changing her life. She's got an amazing podcast, Watch Us Thrive. She's just next level, and it is my honor to watch these women evolve and grow, and seeing sisters in the Sisterhood y viendo mujeres haciendo el trabajo en ellas mismas, cambiando su vida, like doing the work. Yo, this shit is hard. And as you're going to hear today in this episode, you're going to hear from them, and I'm sure that you'll resonate, whether you're a Latina or not, by the way. Let me just say that real quick. This is Latinas sharing what's up in our Latin community, and I wanted to share that because I do have the pleasure of working with so many Latin women, and I want to work with more Latin women. But the reality is my Greek friends, my Sri Lankan friends, my Lebanese friends, my friends from all different countries and all different backgrounds, you will resonate with this because there are cultural things that happen in our communities that prevent us from doing the work on ourselves, that prevent us from healing our trauma, our parents, the shit that's handed down, the expectations that we have as women. So I know you're going to hear yourself in these women's stories. I am next level excited to bring them to you. If you want to connect with them more, please head to the link in the show notes or thequeenofconfidence.com. Click on podcast. You can find all their details there. Without further ado, I want you to meet these incredible, incredible reinas. Hello, my loves. I am so happy that you are here today. We have a very mucho especial episode of the podcast. I've already cried before we freaking started recording. I've got 5 amazing queens who are a part of our Sisterhood. They are Latinas. They inspire me every fucking day. And I'm so grateful that they are in my world and that we are co-creating this healing journey together. I just want to welcome all of y'all to the podcast.
Thank you.
Listen, you guys, we've got 6 Latin ladies, so we are gonna do the horns up in here. We gotta do it. We gotta do it. I don't know if that's copyright, but anyway, if it is, you can sue me later. So this is going to be a great conversation because I wanted to get you all on because number one, you're showing up, you're doing the work. Number two, you have very similar backstories, similar ideas, upbringings, family structures to what I had growing up. And I think it's powerful when we share story and when we tell people who we are, where we came from, what we went through. And despite that, every single one of you have created amazing ass results in your life. And y'all are just getting started. What does J-Lo say? And I'm going to tell you something else. I'm just getting started. That's y'all. Okay. So I'd love to go around. We'll start with Janice, my girl who's already been on the podcast before. She is a pro at the Confidence Chronicles. Tell us a little bit about you and what made you decide to join the sisterhood or go, I'm going to work on myself with this crazy Latina Erica.
Well, first off, girl, like the work that you do is like, can we just give you the flowers, please? Because I think in our community, talking about mental health is just non-existent. And I'll be the first to say, like, I come from a household where there's a lot of mental health issues that nobody wants to acknowledge. And so it's one of those things that we inherit generationally until we decide that we're done perpetuating that stuff. And so for me, as the oldest child, I've had to be strong for everybody for such a long time. I'm, that character in Encanto that's just like got everybody's shit that I'm carrying. And in my mid 30s, I've gotten to the place where I'm like tired of being that person for everybody and not being that person for me. So that's absolutely why I wanted to join the sisterhood, because I just needed to give myself permission and a space where I didn't have to be the strong one all the time. Because I'm tired.
Oh, girl, Maribel, that shit is good.
That's me, girl.
Yeah, I love that. And tell us, what's your work about? For those of you that haven't listened, I'm going to tag our old podcast in the show notes. She's a boss.
Yeah, so I am an accidental entrepreneur that somehow created a podcast that people are now listening to. It's a podcast for Latinas about money called Yo Quiero Dinero, inspired by the amazing song by Cardi B and J-Lo. And I'm really about empowering women in our community to not accept the bottom of the barrel as what we deserve, right? I think we're taught to be grateful. We're taught to be calladita. We're taught not to ask for what we deserve and what we need in order to actually flourish in life. And so I've come to realize, in this capitalist society that we all grow up in, money's power. And so if we want to be powerful, we want to be poderosa, we need the capital, we need the options, and money brings that to us. So I'm all about helping women get the bag so we can do whatever the fuck we want.
Yeah, I feel like I need to go pew, 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 again. Janice,
you
thank
do
you so much, right? Like, seriously, can we all just unmute and give her a pew, 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 pew. Yes. This is why having Latinas on your podcast is the best. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Leanne, and the cool thing about Leanne is that she is Janice's sister. So. Yes. For y'all that don't know, in the sisterhood, we do have there are mother-daughters, there are sisters, there are sister-in-laws. This is a family, we are family, sledge sisters up in here. So this is your sister. Leanne, tell us what made you want to join. You have an amazing story. You have an amazing podcast. Tell us about why you wanted to join the sisterhood and how it feels having your sister in the hood.
Girl, well, first of all, before I even get started, I just want to say thank you, Erica, for having me here. It's such an honor to just be in your presence and be around these amazing women. So I really just want to say thank you before I start. The reason why I'm in the sisterhood is actually because of my sister. We were at a conference in Brooklyn, and I don't know how the conversation started. We were just talking about growing up, mental health, all of that stuff. And I was like, I need some help. I worked with a life coach over the summer last year, and she was great, but I really needed more. So Janice offered to buy your program from me, and I've been here ever since. And it's to say that it's been life-changing is an understatement, For those who don't know, I am a domestic violence survivor, and hitting that rock bottom after going through that last year was my reason for joining this program, because I didn't know what the fuck I was going to do next. I didn't know, right from left. I had gotten fired from my job. My unemployment ran out. Like, I was just in a fucking hole, and I needed help, and I couldn't do it on my own anymore. And because of my sister and because of you, I've completely fucking changed my life. And it's only been 7 months. Like, it's insane.
I can't believe that.
It's only been 7 months, but it feels like a fucking lifetime. Okay. But yeah, that's why I started.
Janice, we got to come back to this, you guys, because this is like a beautiful telenovela, like a good one, not like a bad one,
Yes.
Okay. And tell us now, what do you got a podcast? How did you quickly tell us about that? Because that's awesome.
Yes. I started my podcast in the beginning of the year. It's called Watch Us Thrive. And it's really just talking about uncomfortable conversations around taboo topics like domestic violence. I started it off with sharing my own story, and throughout my journey to healing, I've met so many amazing women, especially in the sisterhood. There's a couple here that are going to be on my podcast, and I just really want to share their own stories of turning their pain into their purpose. So that's what my podcast is all about.
I love it. Thank you for being here. Thank you for existing. Okay, Jexeda with your pink hat. I love it.
Hey. I was trying to think, how did I come across Erica? I have no idea, but I know that I came across you. Thank you, Jesus. And I joined the sisterhood. One, I loved your vibe. I just want to be in your space. And I think you were one of the first people that I resonated. Not only are you Latina, your upbringing and joining really allowed me to step into my childhood. I think I have left that somewhere else because I was supposed to become this other person and be successful and get into corporate, and none of that is really spoken about. So you just gave me so much permission. Like, as a Latina, it is fucking possible. And holy shit, I'm not the only one that has this crazy ass upbringing. Our culture, yes, to mental health. And it's funny that you mentioned that, Janice, because I feel like my mom tried to bring awareness, and I've only been able to realize this now. My mom was seeking therapy several times in my upbringing because she was very depressed, but she never had support because in the culture, who the hell are you to go get therapy? Like, what the fuck do you need therapy for? So she was constantly, people, right? Yeah, yes. Oh my God, like, you're so crazy. Why do you need therapy? So crazy. So yes, I feel like my mom may have tried to bring some awareness, not really talking about it, just going and doing it, but there wasn't support. So she just always gave up and just never did anything for herself, which brought me kind of on my journey as a mom. We just don't do for ourselves. We see the moms, the Latinas, they're carrying it all, they're cooking, taking care of the family, all this stuff. But my mom used to be a stay-at-home mom. And I think I saw the way that my dad and my mom's dynamic was. So I knew I didn't want to be a stay-at-home mom because then I would have a say. So I needed to go to work and all that shit. Long story, but it brought me here. And really, the sisterhood has allowed me so much permission to heal parts that I have just dug away. And also allowed me to just meet other Latinos, other women, to create that you have created, or you have allowed to create that space for us to come in and to feel like we belong. And I think for so long, we used to constantly move around. So feeling like I belonged anywhere was just not a thing. It just never felt like I belonged. And this space has been that place where I feel like I belong. I can connect with other women, and it's not this catty gossip type shit. It's like everyone's headed towards something. We're all healing. We're all growing. We're all crying. We're all the shit. So
we all
got trauma.
Trauma for your mama. We are all llorando.
Yes. Yeah.
She's talking, and just so y'all know, in case you're not watching this video, you should watch the video because it's great. We're giving hearts and shit to you because it's so true. Jake, say that, and then tell us, what do you do? What do you do now?
Yeah, so I left corporate in April of 2021. I basically got them to let me go with pay. I just kept saying no to all the offers they gave me. I was like, no, I don't want that. No, I don't want that. No, I don't want. They're like, fuck, we don't have a choice. Are you going to say you quit, or do we got to tell you that, okay, the road has ended here? So I didn't say I quit. And they were like, okay. I was like, perfect. So I had started my business a little bit before that, started doing some virtual workouts. I was really trying to find my way as I was going on my journey already. And now I'm doing consulting and coaching, which is just absolutely fucking crazy. The shit that's happening for me. I've worked my ass off. And I coach women to really step into their power, to gain the confidence and the courage in themselves. Because I know what it was like to feel overwhelmed, stressed, depressed, and just looking for purpose and everything else. And then I climbed the corporate ladder and I was like, fuck, I hate it here. And that's when I was like, wait, something's wrong. And I want to give other moms the permission, like you too can step into your courage and your confidence. And then I think my biggest mission here is just to create the community, right? To create the community for women to come together and to create the community in workplaces, which is like something that has really come to me. I did that before, and I want to be able to give business owners the opportunity to create community within their workspaces so that people feel like they belong there, because we spend so much of our time there. So
oh my God. No big deal. We just have like freaking 5 incredible women here just changing the world. Thank you, Jexeda. Angelica, Vazquez, with your hair that matches Jexeda's hat and my jacket. We just love pink. My love, yes. Tell me what made you want to join the hood, and tell the people all the things about you.
Well, first of all, I'm kind of like, I feel like I am just showing up today. Oh my God, I'm nervous. But like you say in your book, it's like, you're going to gain confidence by doing the stuff you're uncomfortable with. So today I was like, I got to show up. Even yesterday when they asked us for the pictures, I was like, well, maybe like, I think it was like self-sabotage in the back of my mind. I'm like, well, I didn't take new pictures, all of that. And it was like, no, I am going to show up because, you know, it's important. And today I showed up and I see all you beautiful ladies. And part of me thought that there was going to be more ladies. So when I showed up, I was like, oh, shoot, like I am so nervous.
You're killing it. You're killing it.
Thank you. So I don't know how I found you. I mean, I'm sure I found you on Instagram, but I don't think nobody like recommended me to you. It was just like the Instagram gods were like, here you go. And I was like, heck yes. Like I've been working on myself for 10 years and I've been going to seminars, and on a lot of the seminars, I don't see a lot of Latinas. And a lot of the times it's like, fuck, like, do I not go, or do I go and represent? And it's like, no, I'm going to go and represent because this is so important for me to take all this knowledge that I'm learning and then take it back to my community. So when I found you, even Denise, and I saw it, like I started following you in the podcast with your Quiero Dinero Money. Yeah, I was like, oh my God, like these are my people. And like, I'm an abundance life coach. And so I'm a new coach. So I've been dealing with self-doubt and just, feeling like I'm not good enough because I'm too brown. I'm not smart enough. But like, I know, like I have that like fire within me that is just like, nope, I can't give up. Nope. And like, the more I keep finding more of us, the more I feel like, fuck yeah, I can do this. Like I'm a badass. So, yeah.
Yes.
What's the question again?
That's okay. That's perfect. I'm like, hell yeah, you're a badass. So you joined because of and I think we can all resonate with this, like imposter syndrome, self-doubt, not seeing ourselves portrayed out there in the world, in the landscape of speakers, healers, coaches, abundance coaches, people out there. And you go to these seminars and realize, hey, I can be one of those people. I can be the voice. I could be Latina. I could be brown and talk about abundance and step into my power. So you're rocking it. And I love that you're like, I'm nervous. Fucking hello. There's a lot of people that listen to this podcast. It's a little bit scary to jump on a podcast and be like, come and talk about your life experiences with all of us. And so I really value that truth and that vulnerability, because that's the real shit. People go to podcasts and they sound amazing. They look great. And then they're fucking shitting their pants, So just keeping it real. That's good. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yes. And So like when I started following you, and then I started listening to your podcast like at 4 a.m. when I would go hiking, and I had you in my ear, and I would be like, yes, I could do it. I could do it. It was so like, I never felt alone hiking at 4 a.m. because I had you in my ear, and then I would like tag you on there. I was like, heck yeah, like, if she could do it, I could do it. And it's like, I had been doing so much personal development that when you came in, it's not like I started from the bottom, but it still felt so powerful. It felt like, just the bitch laps that you give us. It's like a whole different way of like loving us, but telling us like, get shit done.
I love it. You just gave me the podcast name. I'm gonna call it Si ella puede, yo puedo. That's it. Like, that's really it. It's like, if you could do it, I could do it. It's that permission. It's seeing yourself. That's why anyway, girl, we're gonna get into it. Thank you so much, Angelica. Okay, we got Nereyda in the house. Nereyda, oh my God, you're super OG.
I am. I am. And I'm so excited and nervous also to be here. But yes, like you, Angelica, nervous is good. I have learned that when I feel like I'm going to puke or I'm going to shit my pants, I'm on the right track. And that is what Erica taught me. So when I started the sisterhood, this was back in 2020, right before the pandemic. Perfect timing, actually. But this was the first time I ever said yes to myself. I had just had my daughter. She was, she was like about a year and a half old. And I just realized like I was so miserable. And I thought that growing up in the Mexican culture, I thought my purpose was to be a mom and this was going to be so fulfilling. And like, this was it. And then I had so much anxiety and depression. And I was like, oh my God, like I hate this. And who am I? And what do I want with my life? And so when I found Erica and I saw all that she was doing, which obviously being a Latina, obviously that spoke even more to me, to see again what is possible for me and not really seeing role models like that growing up. I was like, I think I want to do this. But I remember I was so nervous because I was a stay-at-home mom. I wasn't making any money. My husband was. And so it was a really big thing for me at that time to step up and be like, I deserve this and I want this for myself. And to like have this conversation with my husband and say like, I want to make this investment. And, and he was like, yeah, with no hesitation. He was like, yeah. And I feel like this was a door that opened for me. Like this door that I opened for myself literally has just propelled me into like so much more, which is crazy. Cause if I would have never said yes to myself at that time, who knows where I'd be now, but, yeah. So basically I'm still kind of in my, the baby stages, I guess, of what I'm going to do with my life, I guess. But what has really been big for me is motherhood and just being so real about it. And that's what I take it as like my job, like my duty in this world. My Instagram is to just talk about like all the crappy stuff just as much as we do the good stuff, because I felt like I was failing for so long because I thought, why does everybody have like the pretty pictures and everything looks so perfect? And I was like, I'm miserable and I don't like my husband and I freaking out because I don't really like being a mom. And so, I mean, I love my kids, but this shit's hard.
Hell yeah.
So yeah, I really started showing up, and especially like after the sisterhood, FWOT, like that, like was it for me. Like I just realized, oh my God, I don't have to be the person who I had to be growing up. I don't have to be the little girl that had to be good, that had to be quiet. Like I can be who, it's not too late to be who I meant to be. And so I just kept saying yes and yes and yes to myself. And I was showing up and I was like, I don't care. I don't care about anybody else because this is more important. My message is more important. So yeah, I started doing that and I started holding free self-care mama circles for people. I remember Erica told me you don't need a degree to hold space. And I was like, okay, then. So yes. I did it. I went for it. And so I'm trying to grow community and make it accessible to moms because it's so hard to have that. And then somewhere along the lines, I've now started my storytelling journey. And more opportunities are coming up where I'm able to go to these events and tell stories, and they really all revolve around motherhood, which eventually I'm going to have my own motherhood storytelling events. And yeah, I just, I don't know. I kind of went, I'm just like, really, I'm just kind of being in the moment and letting my heart lead me right now, I guess, if that makes sense.
I feel like you need a podcast, just saying, with that nice little setup you got there. You're ready to talk. Thank you. Thank you, Nereyda. Oh my gosh. So there's a variety, right? Like most of the women who join the sisterhood are either mothers, or they have a job, like a corporate job, a career, or they own a business, or they end up doing that. And I think that this work of you unraveling your thoughts and the way you feel about yourself, and unraveling your beliefs and your bullshit and your stories and all your trauma, makes you wake up to, oh, I'm so much more than what I thought I was. And I want to go do that thing now, all that scary shit. So I would love to hear from anyone who would like to share this. When you decided to start your journey of self-work, how was that experience? Did you get pushback from your family? Did you get pushback from the Latinas around you or your Latin community? Did you get pushback for you getting a coach or a therapist? Or I know some of y'all maybe have also done therapy. How was that experience when you were like, I'm going to work on myself and invest money and time to journal and listen to books? And how was that? Whoever would like to share, maybe if you have an experience. Janice.
So I was forced to go to therapy because I literally had like a mental health crisis. So I was, raised in a household where you don't talk about your feelings. You just kind of sweep shit under the rug. You deal with what you deal with. You don't process your emotions. You don't talk about your emotions. And so the first person that I saw in my inner circle that was going to therapy was my husband, which is very uncommon for our community, right? Like to see a Latino man say, I need fucking help. I'm going to go get some help. Like, I was like, I'll be the first to say I was hella judgmental. I was like, what's wrong with you? Like, you going crazy or something? And he looked at me and he's just like, that's probably the dumbest shit I've ever heard you say. So shout out to husbands who like put you in your place. Yes. Because that's honestly where I came from a mindset perspective, because that was what we were taught. It's just like, if you need therapy, if you need mental health therapy, like you're certifiable, like you should be in a nut house. That's the only valid reason why you should be thinking that. Because otherwise it's just like, go to church and talk to Jesus and he will make it okay. Right. So I saw my husband getting therapy, but I wasn't in a place where I felt like I could make that same decision for myself, even though I had been, dealing with anxiety since I was 12, in and out of bouts of depression throughout the majority of my high school years, into college, into adulthood. And it was maybe a month after I bought my first house, 2016, I was 31 years old. I had gone to school, gotten the master's, gotten the 6-figure career, bought the house, gotten married, done all the shit. And I couldn't get out of bed. I wanted to burn my house down. I wanted to just literally, I would think about driving my car into another car. I would think about just, I'm fucking done. And that was the sign that I'm like, I need to get help. And I went to a psychiatric office. I said, I need a prescription. I need something. I can't even fucking function anymore. And that was the first time that I realized like how many people actually are in these offices getting help, talking to people. I started talking to my friends about like therapy. I realized there's a lot of them who are in therapy, but we don't talk about it. And so that for me was like a big wake up call that like everybody's going through this shit alone in silence. There's a lot of shame about even disclosing that. And so, yeah, that was I was forced to confront all of the things that I thought I just could bury and just be strong and power through it. At some point, you just can't do it anymore. You're going to self-destruct.
I love that. It's like you got forced to do it. You just had to be faced with it. And it sounds like that was like a big turning point in your life. And I know you shared that story in the podcast. If you want to hear more, make sure you go listen to that episode because it's fucking amazing. That's a big moment too. Does anybody else have a moment where it was like, this is my turning point. This is where I know I'm so messed up. There's so much pain. I'm feeling like overwhelmed. I need to do something now.
Yeah, I'll share.
Yeah, Leanne and then Nereyda, go ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, my turning point was March 13th, 2021, when my ex-boyfriend almost killed me. And I really just don't even know who I am. And I think that's such a beautiful thing because of the amount of changes that had happened in such a short amount of time. And, I've tried therapy before, even before my whole incident with my ex-boyfriend, and I never really took it seriously. The only person that I knew that actually went to therapy was my sister. And for the longest, she told me, like, bitch, you got some shit that you need to work on. Like, you have a lot of fucking demons inside of you. And I'm just like, nah, I don't need it. Therapy's for crazy people. Yeah, she can vouch for it. But it wasn't really until last year that I finally realized I got some shit that I got to work on, because everything that I've been doing for the past 32 years of my life, it's just been the same toxic bullshit over and over and over. And it just got to the point where I was fucking tired. I was tired of being stagnant. I was tired of, fucking hating life, honestly. Like, if I'm going to be completely transparent, I was fucking miserable. I was just existing. And, it's unfortunate that it happened the way that it did. But at the same time, I'm so fucking grateful for it because I finally woke the fuck up. And that's what I needed.
Oh, yes, Jixie. I'm seeing the snap, snap, snap. Nereyda, tell us what was like the turning point for you.
Yeah. So I remember when my daughter was still little, my son was a toddler. And I remember having this moment where I literally just went numb. Like I just shut everything down because I couldn't, because what I needed for myself, I was giving and pouring out to my kids. And then I realized I was giving nothing to myself. And I remember this moment where I was just like, I can't even like sit down and just have like a meltdown right now because I have to be mom. And so then I just went numb because I was like, I'm not going to feel anything, And then I had like this kind of flashback almost. And I was like, oh my gosh, I think like that's what my mom went through. I think she didn't have the support, didn't know who to talk to. And so I think she just kind of went numb, because for me, one of the biggest things that was hard as a child was like not having the emotional support. And so anyway, it just kind of was like this big realization, right? That, oh my gosh, my mom didn't know, but now I know and I can get the support. And so I say, yeah, that I don't really like being a mom because it's freaking hard, right? But now I've learned tools that now I see it as my kids are always teaching me like all the time. That's why I don't like it, because it's more work. It's more inner work, they just put
your
in
coaches.
your face. Exactly. That's why I say I don't like it, but I don't mean like how you say, I don't like it. It's just that it's a lot of work, but now, like I said, I have the tools, I can work on it and I see it in a different way. But even then, like seeing all this and being like, oh my gosh, yeah, I get to have these tools. I get to change things. When I joined the sisterhood, I did not tell anybody for the longest time. I was embarrassed. I was so embarrassed because I was like, how am I going to tell somebody that I need help, that I need to get a confidence coach, like if it was like a bad thing. And it was all the stigma, right? And then I didn't know, I knew like my parents wouldn't understand, and even my sisters might not understand, and with time, I just kind of had to let that go and be like, that's okay. They don't need to understand. This is for me. And even when I got that FWOT award, I swear I was more proud of that thing than I was of my diploma. And I had like a 4.0 GPA. And I had a moment where I was like, I got sad that I couldn't tell this to my parents because they wouldn't understand. But then I remembered, hey, it's for me. It's for freaking me. Like I did that. And that meant more to me more than anything else, because I needed to break out of who I was. So anyway, yeah, it was a journey. And now I shout it out proud.
Oh my
and I
God.
joined the sisterhood.
I can't. Do you see like all the layers of, like, there's so many layers of this, like you're going through this yourself. You've been told, or we've grown up in families that, and I will say, and I know we all know this now, but our parents did the best they could with what they had, right? Like they weren't out there to try to fuck us over on purpose. I know that they tried, and they probably got that from their parents, but you could just see that how we were raised and in however you were raised in whatever family, like this Latin dynamic that like you soldier on, you don't cry, you don't go to therapy, que es eso, terapia, tú estás loca, like you're gonna go to el manicomio, we don't do that, we don't talk about therapy. It's like
that lady, if you're depressed,
yeah, like what? It's like, you're depressed, what's that? Like medication, like none of that gets spoken about or gets shared. So then we don't even know that that's possible. And look at that. I didn't even know that, Nereyda. Like now Nereyda is a Facebook community moderator inside of the sisterhood. She's been in for like 2 years. I've watched your kids grow up, like when you were feeding and holding them. And now it's like seeing them on the calls. I'm like, I feel really like the ladies in there are part of the family. So it's crazy to hear that you didn't even have that space where you could share that moment with your family. It's wild.
But I have the sisterhood, and I will say that is gosh, I feel like I said, the sisterhood opened up so much, right? Where like I started with the sisterhood and being open to women, just really holding space for me and just holding me through it all, like just as my truest self, just everything raw, and to be supported. And now I feel like I have so many little sisterhoods. I have local ones, and I mean, what I mean is like women that support me and stuff. So I felt like that alone just even opened me up to even more. And it's just wild. Like when you're just lifted up by other women, it's beautiful.
It's huge. It's huge. Thank you. I want to hear Jack say that. What do you like? Why do you think that Latinas in particular and how we're growing up and our culture and what's known about us? Because I remember, Janice, when you shared on the podcast, like it was almost like we weren't looked at, or we weren't looked after, or we weren't spotlighted or highlighted. And it was like, oh, Latin people over there. Like that feeling that like, oh, you are over there. Like we're not included in many of the big discussions. And I'd love to hear what some of y'all think. And we could start with Jack say that, like, why do you think it's important that Latinas do self-development, do the inner work, do the, therapy mindset kind of work?
Yeah, holy shit. One, it's important that we speak up for the rest of us, that we set the example. And the best place that I can relate this to is my corporate job, right? They knew like, fuck, Jex is walking in. They already knew the Latina was coming, and I had some shit to say because I always got something to say. And I was like, no one was touching my people until they came through me. And so I know that immediately, because of being Latina, that it was already like, either the bossiness or just the titles, right, that come along with our sass. And it's just, well, I feel like sometimes I need to speak up in the way that I speak up, because if not, I'm not fucking heard, or I'm not taken serious. So now you're going to see a little bit of the head movement, and you're going to see some of the attitude, because it ain't coming across when I'm trying to like nicely speak, right? So I think it's so important for us to be the difference for the Latino culture, period, and also for women, because one, I think because we're Latinos, Latinas, it's when Erica said this, it took a really long time for this shit to click. But when she's like, I'm a stupid Latina, I'm like, why would she say that? And it took a long time to be like, that's what I thought, which is why I felt like I had to defend so much of my knowledge and what I knew. And like, I didn't have a bachelor, so I had to go the extra mile, because now, she doesn't have a bachelor, so like, who the fuck is she? So it's like really standing up and defending ourselves and knowing that we know the shit that we know. And we too can take up space. And that's what I've always said. Like, if they ain't fucking giving you a chair at the table, bring your own fucking chair or bring your own table, because we deserve a chair there too. And I've learned that so much in corporates, way too many fucking times, because they want to use us to translate, but they don't want to pay us for that shit. They want all the other benefits.
Is like, hell yeah, girl. I feel like y'all need a podcast about corporate.
I could go on and on. So that's really the spaces that I remember many times feeling like I had to speak up extra, because we did grow up in cities where I was around Latinos, I was around a lot of Black people. I had different people that I was close to, but definitely, especially when in rooms with Americans and with men, American women and American men, it's like, fuck, I need to stand taller and I need to make myself heard even more, which then just gives us a bad name because we're too loud and we're too this and we're too that. So
Can I just get y'all to unmute? Anybody else feel like that? Because I'm like, hell yes. Yes.
Yo.
Yes.
Yes.
1000%.
Okay. Listeners,
They
we
want our
hear
food,
you.
but not the cooks.
Yeah. Yes. So tell me, Angelica, what's your, like, how you feel about this? Like the importance of Latinas working on themselves and feeling like we need to take up space, or we have to force ourselves into spaces to be seen and to be heard.
Well, I was gonna go a little bit of a different route with the question at the beginning. You said,
Yeah.
why do Latinas need this kind of work? And I believe that we need it because in our culture, we have a lot of like, what will people think? Like, ¿qué va a decir la gente? So then we keep a whole bunch of secrets in our family, like hush, hush. And then there's a lot of shame and a lot of guilt. And then it just gets passed on from generation to generation. And it's like, no, fuck that. We need to speak up for ourselves. Like, you know, how they used to say, like, calladita te ves más bonita, you know, being quiet, you look a little bit prettier. And it's like, fuck that. I was molested when I was younger. And had I not done this kind of work, I would be still with the shame and the guilt. And every time that I speak about it around people and people hear me, either they've had those similar experiences or they know somebody who's had gone through that, it just feels like I stand taller and I don't let that shit like bury me down. And I'm sure there's other secrets that other people are holding back because what will people think? And it's like, no, fuck that. You know, honor whatever you've gone through and heal through it and move forward. And don't carry it like, oh my God, I don't want no one to know this because now I'm dirty. Now I'm not worth it. And so I feel like, especially with sexual abuse, it's definitely a generational trauma. So even the people, like the guy who abused me, I have empathy for him because I believe that it has been happening from generation to generation. And no, I'm not excusing his behavior. I'm not going to be his friend. But it's definitely something that if we don't understand that, it's also healing for the people who've been a victim to sexual abuse to understand that, because then they can let go of that hatred and they can be more at peace. And that just makes like the world so much better. And not only that, there's also like, how do you raise your little boys? Stop saying like, oh, because they're a boy, they can go out like, you know, like nothing but a woman has to be hiding, has to be like wearing like very discreet clothes, all of that. So I went on a tangent, but basically I believe that the Latin community needs to do this kind of work because we need to talk about all those secrets. We need to talk about all those wounds that we carry on from generation to generation so that we can heal on the next generations.
That was the best tangent ever. We're all like, we over here like,
pew, 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 pew.
Yeah, pew, 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 pew. We're like nodding. We're like, oh my gosh. First of all, I honor you, and I know you because you're in the sisterhood and you show up to the calls, and we've coached and we've done coaching together, me and you before in there, and you've shared so vulnerably about your sexual abuse. And, you know, something important that we all touched on earlier is like, if you want vulnerability, you got to bring vulnerability. If you want to be seen, like show up. If you want other women, if you want to change any community, and for us, it's the Latin community, like start changing. You can't wait for it to happen. And so I share a lot about my sexual abuse, my mom, my upbringing, and just to the listeners, like, why do you want to share that? Why does your story matter, no matter how big or small? Because Jexeda heard my story, felt seen. Now she's in the program. We're all connected and we're changing each other's lives. Now she's changing other women's lives and her children. And Angelica shares about her sexual abuse because I shared about my sexual abuse, and Leanne shares about her domestic. I mean, like, hello, a corporate gig, like motherhood fucking sucking because it sucks in the beginning. It's hard, you know, like every single one of us having that vulnerability, we're able to show it, and then we can bring that out. Like that can come back to us. So I just want to honor you for sharing that because, you know, I think there is a lot of trauma in many cultures, but I know in the Latin culture, what country are you from, Angelica?
Mexico.
Oh, we got Mexico and Puerto Rico in the house. Okay. And Australia. No, I'm not claiming Australia. Anyway, you know, it's like, there's so much deep-seated stuff. And in South America, like some of those countries, like the communism there and the men and the machismo and the, whoo, like there's a lot of work to be done in that community. So thank you for sharing this, my love. Okay, so just switching gears for a second, speaking of change in the Latin community, what do you think needs changing? What do you think is still an ongoing issue that's big that we see that hasn't been tackled? I know that Janice, you're tackling the money side and the worthiness side and the get your money, passive income side, hustle side. But what do y'all think that is an issue in the Latin community that needs work, that hasn't really been worked on?
I want to start really quick. I just want to highlight on something. I think it's the coming together and no longer bochinchando. Like there's nothing but fucking gossip within the Latino culture. At least that's all I remember. Nobody was sitting at the table talking about no motherfucking wins, about how you look great. It's like as soon as you walk in the door, there's criticism. Either you're too fat or you're too skinny, and nothing but bochinches. And that's where we need to start. We need to start to become one, to stand for one another, to support one another, to guide one another, to love one another, versus us feeling like we can't even sit at a table with our family. We need to go find a family. And it's like, what we're supposed to be the family. So I just wanted to throw that out there because that's my take on where the fuck we need to start.
The bochinche. Mira lo que tiene ya puesto. Yeah, I love that. That's so true. Do y'all call it bochinche in Mexico? What do y'all call it? That gossip shit.
Vivoreando.
Oh, okay.
Like when you're looking at what somebody else is like wearing, and or like, oh, they gained weight, oh, they lost weight, oh, like all those that. Yeah.
The chisme. Leanne, tell us, what do you think?
Yeah, I think just normalizing conversations about not being okay and mental health. I think that's such a huge thing, especially in our communities, that we still struggle with. And I noticed that it really wasn't until I shared my own story that people started feeling comfortable in sharing their story. So I think we just need to talk more about the uncomfortable shit, because we all have a story to tell. And the more we talk about it, the more we can normalize it.
I would say that we also need to stop using the excuse that we didn't learn how to take care of ourselves from our parents as the reason why we're not going to do it. Okay. I think it comes down to like understanding that they did what they could do. Now you have tools. Now you have options. Now you have resources. So like, if you're not going to take the initiative to break the cycle, then you're part of the fucking problem. Like, we can't blame mom and dad anymore when you're 40 years old and still don't know how to fucking act.
Okay. Are y'all ready? Yo, she's hitting us with the victim land. No sea víctima, okay? A tu trabajo. That's so true. Oh my God. Okay, I love it. Angelica, we need 4 hours, by the way, just in case.
Yes.
I believe that we need to have more abundance conversations in the Latin community, because there's a lot of like, oh, that's too expensive, but then they'll go buy like these fucking expensive cars, or they won't pay like for the coaching program, or they won't pay for therapy, but they will be like, you know, in their Gucci bags. Oh my God. And then the whole like BBLs and all of that it's like, what is it too expensive, you know? Anyways, yeah, there's a lot of that goes along with that.
Yes. Hells yes. Nereyda, this is good. Okay, everybody give us the feedback because we want to hear from everybody.
I think one of the things it's like literally down to the basics of being feeling safe enough to express your love. Because I just don't think, because we don't talk about feelings, and it's like the affection piece, and I don't know, I can't speak for everybody, right? But like for me, like there was just no affection. Like I remember I was 18 years old when I moved out, and it was awkward to give my mom a hug. And I'm like, how? And it didn't hit me until way later, right? But I was like, oh my gosh, how sad. But it's like this, and I think it does come from, we need to be strong and, you know, just get it together. So it's like, it feels like love is almost a weakness also. And I think that's traumatic for children, for adults to not experience what true love is from family growing up, because then you're kind of seeking it and you don't know what it is, or I don't, you know, like it's confusing. it's very confusing. And I just wish they knew it's okay. Like and I think it comes from the machista like mentality of like, I'm not gonna give your boo-boo a kiss or whatever. You know what I mean? Like it's so deeply rooted in there. But you know, it affects us all long term.
100%. Did everybody share that? Like what needs change in the Latin community? Yes. I think that I feel let me just add to this is I feel like I want to see us big. I don't want to just see Sofia Vergara and they go, when you're older and Latin, you're going to be sexy. I don't want to be like the Latinas are hot and red dresses and sexy. And yes, we're fucking sexy, no matter what shape, size, hair color, culture, you know, I was going to say country we came from. But also there's so much more to that. Like we have so much more than just we're Latin speaking, sexy, Spanish dancing, fucking flamenco emojis. It's like, okay, I want to see us doing big shit. I struggle when I try to like, Janice, you're really good at this because you got your finger on the pulse, but I struggle to call upon my Latin women like Celia Cruz, J-Lo.
Yeah.
I honestly don't know. And I heard about that chick who won the Academy Award from your Instagram because I didn't even know who the hell she was, to be honest. Okay, so my computer just melted because it's too much heat. Like Jenny said, it's too hot up in here. But I didn't even know about that girl until you shared it. So I feel like one of the big problems is like, and I love me, Marie Forleo, Tony Robbins, all these people. But as a coach, I'm like, where's the Puerto Rican Marie Forleo? I got Cardi B. I love her. I don't really agree with all her choices, but she's cool. J-Lo, again, I don't agree with all her choices. She's cool. Who we got? Like, who do we have out there that's not doing singing and dancing and rapping? Like, it's wild. So to me, I feel like we need some what's the word called? Exposure?
Diversity in what represents Latinas, right? Because I think so much of what we see and what is projected to us is that our value is based on our physical appearance. You know, how beautiful you are. What if your hair is straight, if it's naturally curly, if you have big hips, if you have the bottle, you know, the Coke bottle fucking figure. And it's just like, if that's what we're aspiring to, we're aiming so fucking low for what we actually have capable in our community.
100%. And so this is an invitation for you to take up space and stand up and go for it. And don't get discouraged if you don't see the Puerto Rican Oprah. We're all trying to do that. Okay. We are all in the climb. And if we don't work on ourselves and if we don't heal the trauma and the shit that we picked up along the way, we're not going to get to do that. And then these other cultures and these other people that always get it, keep getting it because they're not teaching their kids the shit that we learned. That Rich Dad, Poor Dad. If you haven't read that book, like they're not learning that. We're not learning these things. So I want to ask y'all, you know, our childhood obviously impacts individually. If you could just share, like, what do you feel like was a big childhood moment for you or a big thing that was cemented for you that affected you, that maybe as a kid, we thought it was okay, but you realize in adulthood how it fucked us over and affected us because we all done the work and we know from our childhood who we show up as. I'd love to hear about maybe an experience that you remember or a belief or a story that you had as a kid and how you see it now after doing the work in hindsight, how that shit affected you as an adult.
How long you got?
I was thinking the same thing. Like, Erica?
This camera is good. We good now.
Okay, I'm gonna start because this is like literally fresh off my mind. I revealed on Twitter that I know my parents followed me on a couple days ago, that when I was 19 years old, so 18 years ago, I had an abortion that no one knew about. And when I think back to why no one knew, it's because I was not taught that it's okay to tell the truth. Every time I told the truth, I got in trouble. And so I learned that you do not disclose when something's wrong. You go and fucking figure that out. You bury it, you put it away so that no one ever finds out about it. And, you know, the conversations, at least in the US, have come up because abortion rights is a really big political issue that people are talking about right now. And as somebody who, has built a platform where I feel like my voice matters, and I have a sort of like a sense of responsibility to continue to destigmatize so much of the shit that we as women are taught about ourselves, what we have permission to do, what we have permission to say. I felt like it was the time to, tell my truth. And I was more nervous, honestly, about like my parents' reaction than I was about strangers on the internet, which is kind of just like, it's so fucking weird. But I knew like, once this shit is out, like, that's it. And let's see what the reaction is going to be. So, an hour into when I posted it, I get a text from my mom. She's like, is this for real? Like, did this actually happen? And I'm like, yeah. And she's like, well, why didn't you say anything? And I'm like, because I did not feel safe. And while I usually expect my mom to go into defense mode, she actually apologized to me. And she, for the first time, was like, I'm sorry that I created that type of environment that you felt like you couldn't come to me. And I'm sorry that you had to experience this on your own. And then my father called me. My father and I do not talk about any emotional shit. Like most Latino fathers just don't even acknowledge that there's fucking family trauma. They're just like over there watching all the women act wild. And they're just like, bueno, women will be women. And he apologized to me too. And he was like, I'm really sorry that you had to go through that. And so just, their level of consciousness now that they realize like their actual role in creating what has manifested as like, mental health issues and stuff, like them taking responsibility was something that I never thought like I would hear, but I really appreciated that because I feel like we've gotten to a new level in our relationship because of it.
Wow. First of all, honor you for that share, and holy shit, everybody here, we all like, oh my God, because look at your ability to put yourself out there, to share that, to do the work before you obviously shared that, because you have created shifting and changing in your parents without them joining a program, going to therapy and doing that. Like you did that. That shit is powerful. Thank you also for getting me onto Twitter, because fucking Twitter. Now that Elon Musk took it, I'm like, all right, I'm back. Thank you so much. So the safety, not feeling safe. And do you feel like that played out for you in your adulthood? Like maybe with relationships or jobs or work? Yeah,
absolutely. I can't fucking trust people. And I know that's a fact of just like, that I don't feel safe like disclosing emotions to people. I keep my circle very small. I'm very skeptical of, who I can trust. And it's honestly like, I have to attribute it all to that because I just don't know what is a safe space.
That's the hot seat. Next hot seat. We're going to do it. I like it. It's good, but it's beautiful because you see it. You're like, shit, okay, it's probably from that. And it 100% would be, because how are you going to trust people when you didn't have anybody in that time when you needed someone? Honor you so damn much. Oh, yeah. Okay. Everybody has a story here. So let's go, Angelica.
So growing up, I'm the middle child of 3, and both of my sisters are lighter skin, and so is my mom. And so growing up, they would always be like, oh, you're more morenita. And especially during the summer, if I was out and, playing on the field, like I got really, really dark. And so I always felt less than in my own family. My dad was always also darker like me, but like obviously nobody was talking about him. They were comparing me to my sisters. And so I always felt like there was something wrong with me for being darker. And I could even see it now, like even here in Arizona, there's a town called Scottsdale where it's like, all the fancy people and all of that. And it's like, even now, like sometimes I will feel uncomfortable in those places because like, I feel like I stick out. I'm like one of the darker ones. And, like I said earlier too, in the seminars, it's like, I don't fit in. And at the same time, like now that I've done the work, now I just keep on, reminding myself that I am as special as anybody else, that I am allowed to take space, that it's okay for me to show up and all of that. And it was so crazy. One day, like, talk about representation, like watching shows and all of that. Like, I never saw somebody like me. And then one day I saw somebody that looked like me and I was freaking out. And I was like, this is crazy that out of 33 years, only one person on TV felt like I was, you know what I meant? Like, out of my 33 years old,
yeah.
I'm getting nervous. Sorry.
No, it's good. I hear you.
Out of my 33 years, like, I only saw one person on TV that looked like me. Like, that's sad. Yeah. And this is why I feel so excited for all the little girls who see me and like they see that I'm doing these like badass stuff, and I notice like their little eyes like light up and they're like, yeah, she can do it, I could do it too again. But like little girls have always looked up to me for whatever reason. So the fact that I'm doing all this badass stuff is just like, I get excited that I get to be that for somebody else.
Yes, girl. Yes. Okay. Dexeda, then Nereyda, then we got Leanne.
Yes. I'm actually going to talk about something that I learned recently that I probably didn't correlate, but it's my marriage, the way that my parents did their marriage. They're not together anymore, but there were a lot of things that I brought into my marriage. And it wasn't until I started to unravel some of that I was like, holy shit. One was like hiding the money that I was spending. I was working for the shit myself, but my mom used to do this all the time. Like, she used to either fight to spend money with my father, because my father was cheap. He's like, why can't they get Payless shoes? Why do you have to go and get them, whatever shoes? So my mom used to constantly hide, or it used to be this really big fight about spending money, about like, no, I'm going to go do this with the money. I'm going to take them shopping. So I found myself doing the same thing in my marriage, like literally hiding where I was spending money. I invested like $5,000 on a coach and never told my husband. And then he was like, oh, we have like so much money in your account. And I'm like, well, about that, can I tell you a story? So I was bringing in so much of that shit into here, and also finding that I was so against, like, I had this view that we were against each other versus together as one, because that's what home was about. And it wasn't until I started to literally unravel all this shit that I'm like, holy shit. One, how are you still here? But he's like my biggest fucking supporter. He cheers me on, right? When I'm like, I'm throwing in the towel, he's like, remember all that money you invested? You can't do that. So,
shout out to the husband.
Yeah, for real. So yeah, it's a lot of those little things that I have literally brought into my marriage. And something else was at about, I don't know, I think I was maybe 5 or 6. I was up my father's ass all the time. I was daddy's little girl. I wouldn't even allow my mom to leave my father. I remember begging her not to leave my father, even though she was fucking miserable. Story for another day. But I remember so far up his ass that he finally decided, like, fine, I'll take you with me to Puerto Rico. And on our trip to Puerto Rico, apparently he was hanging out with another woman, and I saw the way that he was being, but I didn't know this until older. So he was being a totally different person. I went home, I cried to my mom and told my mom whatever it is that I suspected, but I brought that into my marriage, constantly looking and knowing that, like, of course there's someone else, like, of course there's this stuff is going to happen, because even though I was young and it was the way he was being that I interpreted as we're not good enough for him to be that way with us, because all we got was a lot of other things. And I love my father, him and I have a great relationship now. They did the best they could do, but I really internalized so much shit that I literally brought it into my parenting, my marriage, like so much of it. And my husband doesn't do the work like me. So sometimes when I'm telling him this, he's like, you sound a little crazy, but sure, that makes sense. But yeah, it's like we just internalize so much of what we see, and then we bring it into our homes and start living that way. And unless we're willing to like look ourselves in the mirror and be like, you gotta like stop the shit and do the work, it's just going to continue. And then you wonder why relationships aren't working. Yes, it could be the other person. And sometimes it's what you're bringing to the table and what you're making your situation mean and how you're being within your relationship. So,
oh my gosh, that is a bomb. That's huge. And also it reminds me of the like jealousy thing. That's another thing that I feel like the Latin community has. Like men are going to look at women. Men are going to be dirty and grimy and sexual towards other women. And you got to be okay with that. Porque él es un hombre. And that's what they do.
The fuck not.
Yeah, I know. I'm like, people like this. Excuse me. So I love that because it's another thing, another one. It's like, we're like another one. That's another thing we need to fix in the Latin community. Thank you. Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah, I resonate with that a lot, Exida. And I brought a lot of stuff into my marriage too, especially like with money, that like, because my husband was making money and I wasn't, like I was less than or something, you know? So yeah, I feel that. But what I was going to share actually was, it's funny because when you said something that you didn't realize until you're older when you're doing the work and then it clicked, so in high school, I had the nickname Jesus because it was like, they said it like a joke, right? But they said because I was so perfect. That was what they would always say. And it was when I was older that it clicked and I was like, oh my gosh, it's because I was whoever I needed to be, whoever needed me to be what, right? A major people pleaser, like real bad. And then it kind of made me sad because I was like, oh my gosh, that's why they called me that. But it started really from like a really young age because, you know, I had parents who worked their ass off. Like my dad started from the fields like so young, and now he was freaking making way more money than a lot of people make in college because of his hard work. So that's what I saw, right? And it's like we owe all this to him because he's done this for us. And so then it was like a constant like need of approval through school is how it started, right? So it was like I had to get straight A's. I never missed school. I had to be like an adult at such a young age and be like, nope, it doesn't matter if I'm sick. If I don't feel good, I'm going to school. And I strive for perfect attendance, for straight A's. It was exhausting, but I didn't realize this until way later, right? But it was just seeking approval and being worthy because my parents had done so much to be like bring me here, which I am so thankful for all they did. I really am. And I'm not saying that at all. But it stripped me of who I was, of ever getting to know who I was. And so when I became older and when I started doing the work, and I realized, well, I'm not really who I thought I was. And really taking those layers off and being like, okay with maybe my parents might not like me as much as they did before. And that's okay. But yeah, that was like a big thing. And that's something that I instill in my kids all the time, that I'm going to love you no matter what. And you just need to be who you need to be. And that's not my problem. You know what I mean? That's your thing. And I'm not going to, whatever you do with your life isn't going to affect your worth or whatever, or, you know, so yeah, that was a big realization for me.
I love that. And I love that because I'm a Puerto Rican woman. So Puerto Rico and America is like, you can go to America as a Puerto Rican, but I'm mindful that Mexico, you can't, right? And South America, you can't. And I've seen when I lived in California on the East Coast, on the West Coast, especially like my Mexican sisters that I had over there, I was really close to this family in Mexico and I lived with them and they were Mexican and they took me in and I got to see for them how it worked. And there was this guilt that like, I came to this country, you know, my husband who passed away, his family was from El Salvador. One of his aunties came in the fucking motor of a truck. Like, yo no puedo, I think like, what? Like she burned her skin coming inside of this truck to cross the border illegally so she could bring her family. Like, yo, eso me mata. Like that shit, that should never have to happen. And to come to another country. So, and then when they raise these first gen American Latin kids, you know, right? We're Puerto Rican. 3 of us here are Puerto Rican. We don't even know that world, but I got to see that world with El Salvador and Mexico. And it's like, yo, that's something we didn't even need to worry about. And the parents and the guilt of like, I got to prove them. I got to be a good student like Nereyda. I got to work a good job. I need to go to college because they sacrificed everything. And then there's this like Spanish speaking shame. I don't know about if we got time for that, but there's another thing like, oh no, I don't speak Spanish. I'm Mexican, but I'm from California. Like yo no hablo el españolo. And it's like, cause the parents, you know, see the laugh of recognition, unmute, yo. That's That's like another thing that I saw in California, right? And
they
it's
even have a term for them. They're called no sabos. So it's like making fun of the fact that they don't know how to speak Spanish. And it's like, yo, like of all the fucking shit that we gotta be concerned and self-conscious about, like we're gonna add this shit on.
I know.
Yeah.
How is this like shameful if you speak Spanish because the white people are gonna think you're from Spanish countries and dirty and bad and like we are fucking Spanish countries. Like anyway, yo, that's some problema. So Nereyda, I honor you and Angelica and anybody else who's listening that's from a Latin country that's not Puerto Rico, because we like the Hawaii, not official, but anyway, that's another one that we could talk about later. Okay, Leanne, tell us a childhood thing that you see that affected you as a grown-up.
Oh man, we get deep. Is this like a hot seat?
Hey girl, I'm taking notes for later.
Yeah, right. Yeah, no, for me, the one thing that stuck out to me was the second child syndrome and always feeling like I was in the shadows of my sister. And that's something that still comes up for me to this day, that I still work through. You know, just the lack of self-confidence that I had as a kid and always feeling like, you know, trying to be like her, but could never reach that level. And I think that's what stopped me before I even started doing the work, not having that confidence within myself. But it wasn't until I started doing this work and stopped that comparison trap that I was doing for so long for me to like just stop comparing myself to my sister, because I'm not her. I'm never going to be her. And that's okay.
We got the realness happening. La hermana. I'm gonna make a t-shirt that says hermanahood.
Yeah.
That's huge. Yeah. That's huge because you guys grew up in the same home and now you're on this journey, and obviously two different journeys of the work, but still supporting each other and being a part of each other's world. Do you feel like you guys have a better relationship now than ever, or?
1000%. 1000%. Yeah.
Yeah. Now we just talk about how fucked up everybody else is in our family and how they need help. We're like the chosen ones, and we're just like, y'all need Jesus and a therapist. Okay.
Yep. For sure. Yeah. It wasn't always like that. Yeah, it wasn't always like that. But you know, thank God for you for this program.
I love you. I laugh because I got like Nikki, who works for us, and she joined the sisterhood when it first came out. She was one of the first 25 women in 2018. And then she enrolled everybody, her mom's in the sisterhood, her cousin, her aunt, her sister, like all these people, everybody. And you can see how how she needed to do her first and grow. And then by her changing and shifting, people started paying attention. And those that wanted to, okay, don't be shoving this shit down their face. Read Byron Katie. They're like, vete pa allá, no lees eso. I have sent a Latin version of Byron Katie to my family, pa que tú lo sepa. She has a Spanish version. So, yeah. And they're like, I don't want to read this shit. But she started doing it. And then her family started like, oh, I'm interested. And I see the change in you. And I want to do it now. And it's so funny because we jokingly would talk shit. She would talk shit about her sister on the hot seat. And we would all be like, wait till your sister joins. And then her sister joined. And her sister was like, bitches, you've been talking about me. And they have this beautiful relationship like you two. And it's gorgeous to see the vulnerability, but also the responsibility that each of them are taking for how fucked up they were to each other because of, you know, the upbringing. So it's huge. All right. So I want to change gears and ask you, what do you think made you ready? What do you think made you ready to invest the time, the energy, the money? Because we hear, like you said, Jexeda, like you said, like, oh, I'm happy, or Angelica, I'm happy to spend money on Gucci, but I'm not going to pay for coaching, or I'm not going to pay for self-development. I feel like in the Latin community, we still have that, like, personal development is corny. You're going to go to a Tony Robbins event, like, ¿qué te pasa? You know, like, we go to Bad Bunny concerts, but, you know, we see Mark Anthony, Jexeda, but we ain't going to go to UPW. So what do you think?
I could go. I've been investing for a really long time, for like the last year and a half.
Secretly?
But this was the first, yes, secretly. But this was the first time that I told my husband, like, I want to do this program. And he was like, who is it for? So he was like, if it's for you, great. So we put it on his credit card. Mind you, we were definitely going through some hard fucking times and maybe shouldn't have been spending the money. But into this program, I just knew that I was ready for the next level. I'd been working on myself a lot. And then again, just seeing Erica's vibe and in her space and like another Latina, like, hell yeah, I'm there. I honestly don't even know that I knew what I was signing up for. I just knew that it was going to help me level the fuck up. So I was like, I'm in there because I'm ready for my next level up. So, but I just knew even before this, investing in myself was like, I am sick of the same shit. Like what got me going on myself was I'm sick of my own shit. And then I was like, I'm sick of the same shit. And looking around for the people next to me is not giving me the answers. That's not going to work. So I just literally started throwing money out at like coaches and shit.
So I feel like I always had this like inner knowing that I was meant for something bigger. Like I always had this list of like bucket lists, and I would always be crossing them off, and I would, like, nobody taught me that. And YouTube was not that big back then. And I was just always like, there's more that I want to do. There's more. And like, I didn't have anybody around me except one of my friends. She did tell me to go to therapy because I had been molested. And, you know, she's like, it would be good to talk about that. And so I did. But then I think it was like one of the movies that I saw that they had seminars in one of the movies. I don't know if it was Yes Man or something. And I was like, I want to go to those seminars where people are just like, yes, yes. And I don't know. I just did it on my own. Nobody around me was doing it. Everybody would be like, you're crazy. You're spending $3,000, $5,000 to be, you know, in the seminars with people you don't know. And then you're being vulnerable. Like you're telling them all your stuff. And I'm like, yeah. And I don't regret it. It's been the best fucking thing for my life. Like, I really do believe that I am where I'm at. Like, there's still like a huge place that I can grow to, but I believe that I'm where I'm at because of all of that work that I've done. And yeah, I don't look back and regret any of it. And this is my life now, coaches upon coaches.
Yes. I love it. And I know that y'all work on yourselves and we invest, but it is a thing that comes up, you know, even in your own businesses, when someone, Janice, wants to join your program or work with you, Nereyda, or hire Jexeda, or, you know, come to your events that you create. It's like, oh, I don't know if I want to invest it. And I talk about this a lot because I rate all of you that invest, and I invest too. Like I'm always shedding tears for the investments because I know that quote, when you pay attention, right? And there's such a stigma around, I don't want to spend the money on it. I'd love to hear from you, Leanne. Tell me, you know, sharing not only money, but time and energy. When you start working on yourself, it's fucking terrible. Like, it's not like, yay, join the sisterhood. I'm so happy.
This shit is ghetto as fuck. Okay.
Yes. Tell me.
No, you know, for me, like piggybacking on what Jexida said, it was me tired of my own shit. You know, me living this life of complacency for so long and just being sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I mean? And yeah, this journey is like never ending. It's exhausting, if I'm completely honest. There's times that I'm just like, yo, I can't because it's too much. But I make sure that I always come back to it because I've seen the change. You know, I watched the hot seat of when I first joined back in November. And then I watched the hot seat where Mia spoke last month. And just seeing the change in me, like me watching me was fucking wild.
It's huge. It's so powerful.
It's huge. And when you're doing this work, like for me, I don't see it because I'm doing it every single day. But then to like be able to reflect back and see, yo, I really have changed. Mind blown. So
I know. That's why we make, seriously, you doing it though. Like, that's why we make these, like when you join, do a video introducing yourself, because I mean, Nereyda, 2 years you've been in, you go back to watch that video when you join, and I have everybody's videos and I watch them and I'm like, I don't recognize you. This like apologetic, I had to record this 14 times and I didn't want to push live and I deleted it and I started again. And it's like the whole, watch everybody's welcome video when you go into the group, everybody's apologizing. Half the video, I'm like, get to you. Who are you? Why did you join? They were fucking apologizing. So it is powerful. And the hot seat is like our coaching call where we do the work, and it's amazing. I love that. So I want to hear from Janice, because you are the money mentor up in here, and people will say, I don't have the money. I don't have the money. I don't have the money for that. I can't do that. I can't pay for that. But like Angelica said, they'll buy fucking rims and, bullshit. So what would you say to someone who's like, I want to do this, but I don't have the money. I don't have the time, all that.
Yeah. Yeah. I think part of it has to do with you not feeling worthy of investing in yourself, right? I think as women, and especially as women of color, we are programmed to never invest in ourselves. Like we have to give, but nothing should come back to us. And I noticed that as a pattern for myself. Like I will be happy to drop, money on my professional goals, on getting some certification, on taking some course for my business, on hiring for, some goal that I have professionally. But then when it comes to like investing in something that's going to help me level up, like as a human, it's like a harder conversation for some reason. It's like, bitch, you really need that? Like, and I think it's just like a reprogramming of what it actually means to invest in yourself. Right. So if you're not willing to bet on yourself, then like, I don't really know what you're spending money on, because the external shit, you'll get that quick high from buying your next Louis Vuitton bag or taking that next trip to Cabo. But the results and the feeling and the excitement from that shit doesn't last. What will actually help you create the life that you want is like deciding that you are the most valuable investment that there is. None of the external shit is actually going to make any difference in your life.
That's a bam, 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 bam. Yes. Tell me, Angelica, tell me.
As she was talking, it just also reminded me of how many people don't want to take responsibility for their life. So that's why they don't want to go into the work, because then they actually have to see like who actually is creating all the chaos. It's themselves. And it's like, I don't want to know that. Yeah, I think, that's another reason why some people are not willing to do this work.
Yeah, 100%. And it is ghetto as fuck. Like you say, Leanne, it's not an exciting, fun thing. You get the welcome pack and you're like, yeah, sisterhood. And then you're like, oh, I hate this.
Then you start those modules. It's like, oh shit, we really got to do it now.
Like, oh no, I like Erica better on Instagram. I don't want to talk about
right.
This. Okay, we're about to wrap this soon, but I'd love to know, what has been like the biggest, what are you most proud of from joining, and whether it is one of the modules or a lesson or a person you met or a conversation or a masterclass or something you attended? What are you most proud of from your contribution? And like I said in the intro, this work only works when you work it. It's not, and I love y'all. And we said like, thank you for your praise and your love, because I love it and I'm grateful, but it can't be me. Because this program exists, there's been over 900 women join, and some don't get any fucking results. Like, and then you got fucking somebody joins in 18 days, they completely transform their lives. So it's really you individually, each and every one of you doing what you do. You guys are doing it. So, I think it's super important, but I'd love to know, what are you most proud of from
I think I said, I've been doing so much personal development over the years, and a lot of the times I can get in my head. So I think one of the most proud of is like taking care of my inner child. That's like one of the things that I learned, that I was reminded in the sisterhood of, like, really sit there with your inner child and how she's feeling at the moment. Stop trying to rationalize the situation and just be there for her, and like hold that space of her not feeling so good at the moment, and deal with the rationalization later. But in the moment, like, we don't really have very many spaces where we're able to just be sad, be mad, be angry, like all the emotions. It's like, oh, like something happens and the next day you have to go to work, so better buckle up and forget about it because you have shit to do. Or like people who have kids, it's like you don't have those moments where you just get to be there for your inner child and tell her, you know, I love you and I'm so sorry this shit hurts right now. So I'm proud of doing that for myself more and more as I keep going on with the sisterhood.
Oh, I love that. Nereyda, tell me, what are you most proud of?
Showing up, like freaking showing up. I was so scared to be seen for so long, and it just feels good to just be me. Like when I get in the group and I'm just like crying and without any fear of judgment or anything. And like, they're just like, they're real tears. I don't know if that makes sense, but they're just real tears that they're coming from just like a little soul that just needs to shed them. And I'm in a safe space. And I think with that, it just helped me more to be, like even be there more for other mamas, like to be like, I'm not going to judge you. Like you say whatever you want to say, like you need to be heard and seen. And I feel like I had to do that for myself first. Right. And it was great, right, that I had this safe space to do it in the sisterhood. And as soon as I started doing that for myself, I was able to do that for other moms. And I say moms because I specifically focus on moms, but yeah, it just kind of opens up a whole new way of being because you get to just be you know, without judgment. I mean, sure, the thoughts might come every once in a while, but then you now have the tools and you can figure out where that's coming from or work through that or whatever. But yeah, I mean, when else do you get to just be you? And I feel like it feels good. It feels good to just be me finally.
I love it. I love it. Leanne, tell me.
I'm proud of showing up for me. I'm proud of my vulnerability, of not playing small anymore, of taking up space, of taking my power back with my voice and creating a safe space for others. And I'm proud of the amazing fucking people that I've met because of this program. I've connected with so many women who have changed my life, and I'm just so fucking grateful for that.
And you won an award. I love it. You came to win. Janice, tell me, and Jaxeda.
Yeah, I think for me, it's like, I'm proud of the fact that I've realized that you don't have to actually do this alone and that you don't have to figure it out and that there are people who are going through shit. And just like knowing that there are people who are going through shit makes it feel like it's also okay for you to be going through shit, right? Because mental health can be so isolating, especially if you don't have anybody around you who actually just can fucking listen and not judge and just be a voice and a you know, a shoulder to cry on. So if you can't find that within your immediate vicinity, like this is why these communities exist. So you don't have to do it alone.
I love that. So freaking true. Coming out with us locas, we got this, you know? Jaxeda.
Yes. I would say same thing, showing up, being vulnerable as hell, authentic. Cause yeah, like not having to have a reason to be sad, cry, like all the things, just having that safe space, because you're right. I can sit in the corner of my house and cry and everyone's gonna be like, oh my God, what's wrong with you? Right. Which has definitely happened. Like, oh my God, mom's crying. God forbid. So what's wrong with her? Oh my God, we made mom cry. I'm like, y'all, it's okay. So definitely that permission. And like Leanne said, and I'm sure everyone can relate, is the bomb ass relationships that I have built with fucking strangers that I have never met in my life, but that I feel are like, so my sisters, like having a call with Chantel we have scheduled and we show up, having a group with Leanne, and just it's fucking amazing because I've been in communities and this is different. The engagement is different. The connections are different. The vulnerability is different. It's exactly where I belonged, and really shows the possibility that we can create communities where there is connection, where there is vulnerability, where there is authenticity, where there's love, where there's acceptance, like all of it. And I just fucking love it here. So yes.
I'm over here just picking up myself off the floor with tears. I love you guys. I will say that honestly, like, again, everyone's like, you created a safe space. And I'm like, one human can't create a safe space. like we need 1 or 2 people to gather for space to even be created. So the fact that the space gets created through every single woman who joins and shares and is, they trust that what they say there, it's like what happens in Sisterhood Vegas stays. And I'm so proud. I feel like I need a badge, like on my website, like in 4 years, no information has been leaked from this program. Like it's like FBI security, like nobody said nothing. There's been all kinds of conversations. And, we speak about, just on this episode, you touched on 3 big things that have happened in your own personal lives that you consider taboo. You wouldn't tell someone. Eso no se dice a la gente. It's your private business. And I will say that that's the best thing about the community for me, is that women have come in and stripped and been like, look at me, I'm going to be here, metaphorically naked. And all of us are like that. So there's no judgment and it's safe. And just to see somebody sit in their car and cry on a video and then be like, oh, okay, like where the fuck else can she tell someone she's suicidal? Where the fuck else can she share that? Where? Like, I'm more concerned about where could they, not, oh my gosh, she's suicidal. It's like, where else is she going to share that? And we need that space, those places. So, thank you. All right. Our last thing, and we're going to wrap this up and we're going to share where people can find you, because these women are dope. So what's dope in Spanish? ¿Cómo se dice dope?
Chido.
I don't know.
Chingonas. Chido.
También.
Okay.
Bien chido. Está bien chido.
Oh, I never knew that. Okay, that's
Take chingona too.
I'm like Cheetos. I'm like, I got some flaming hot Cheetos. Okay. Okay. So what's next for you in your life, in your growth, in your journey, now that you have this incredible community and the tools that you've learned and the things you're continuing to do? What's next for you, Nereyda?
Okay. I guess I'm still on my journey. I'm still figuring that out, but I definitely, okay. So my goals are, okay, I'll share that, are to really, help mamas find more community. So when I'm having these mom circles, obviously, like, it's just finding community. And then with storytelling, motherhood storytelling events, I basically wanted to just for moms to literally just sit there and listen to other moms tell their story, because in that vulnerability, they're like, okay, I am seen and I'm not crazy and I'm actually okay. So yeah, I think I'm just working through figuring out how to best support moms and the realness, and knowing that just because there's bad sides of motherhood doesn't mean you're a bad mom.
So where can we find you if we want to stalk you?
So on Instagram, I am Nereyda.Martin is my username, and I will post all the realness on there, so you never have to feel alone.
I love it. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. So Leanne, what about you? So what's next for you now that you have the tools, the community? What's next in your world?
Just to keep showing up with my podcast, putting myself out there, continue to interview amazing women, men of all races, ages. And I want to get to the next module because I'm still in module 1.
I can't believe this. So module 1 is a joke. Like, we never leave module 1 because it's all about your mind, and that shit's just crazy. It's just wild. Where are you technically now, module wise? Because you just joined and I feel like you've been in for 10 years.
I know. It feels like about 100. I haven't finished the Byron Katie book, so I want that to be my goal, to completely finish that before I move on.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And where can we find you and listen to your podcast?
Well, it's called the Watch Us Thrive podcast. You can listen to it everywhere. And I'm mainly on Instagram at Watch Us Thrive podcast. So check me out. Brand new episodes every Tuesday.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Love you.
Jake, say that. Tell me what's next and where can we find you?
Yes. What's next? Building community and supporting women in stepping into their confidence and courage. This has been probably the biggest realization, is that I've been avoiding, even though I've already done it, but building community. And as I'm doing consulting and coaching work, I want to stick to that, as I know how impactful it has been for me to get into communities where I feel like I belong. So creating those spaces for women and mothers. And for me, it's really about a mind, body, soul connection and helping moms as well. I'm also focusing on moms that are ready to start pouring into themselves the way that we pour into our children, our careers, and everything else, but ourselves. We get to put ourselves first. So that's what I'm doing, creating communities and workplaces, as well as communities with women. And you can find me on Instagram at Fierce Leadership Coaching.
Ooh, leadership. I like it. I like it. Okay, Janice.
This is like breaking news. So I am going to write a book. I just got a book deal today, y'all. And so I'm going to be out here writing a book that doesn't exist, which is a personal finance book for the Latina community.
Oh my gosh. What?
Yes, girl. Yes, literally. I literally just got the call today. And so I'm really out here trying to inspire and empower women to believe that they can create the life of their fucking dreams. And you don't have to be J-Lo. You don't have to be Cardi B. You could be a regular schmegular girl from the block and still get the bag. Okay. So that's what I'm going to be working on. And you can find me and my shenanigans and my podcast at Yo Quiero Dinero Podcast, all over social. And yeah.
And we going to make it to the Oprah Book Club. Manifesting that. Okay. Yes, the fuck we are. Yes.
And when you get there, just throw her my book too, okay? When you up there, just say, mira,
I got you.
I got you. Oh, I love it. Okay, Angelica.
What's next for me is that I'm going to continue to grow my business. My business is called Living the Badass Life. I am a massage therapist here in Phoenix, Arizona, and an abundance life coach for millennials. And so I help badass millennials create a life that they're truly proud of, let go of the shame and the guilt, and make more decisions that will make them feel pretty badass. And you can find me on Instagram on Living the Badass Life 11.
Oh, I like it. I like it. Okay, last call for alcohol. We're about to go now. Last call for sparkling water. No vamos. I'd love to know one thing. If there's a woman out there similar to you who's listening, who's like, I don't know what to do. I don't know if this is the right thing for me. One thing that you would say to her in regards to not only joining the sisterhood, obviously we want you to join the sisterhood. If you love me, I love you back, let's go. But even not the sisterhood, just generally working on herself. What would you say to her? Just one line. We'll start with Leanne and then we'll go Nereyda, Jexeda, Angelica, and Janice.
Show up and do the work because it's going to change your fucking life if you take it seriously.
Boom. Okay. Oh, fuck. I wish I had the horn again. Okay. They're all going to be horn answers, just so you know, audience. Okay. Nereyda.
You are worthy of it all and the life that you want for yourself. And gosh, we want to see you up there so that your daughters and their daughters see more Latina women doing the damn thing. We want you to win.
Oh, far out. Fucking great. Jexeda.
Yes, do it for you. Show up, especially if you're sick of your own shit. Just know that you have the ability to take responsibility and to change your life, because it will be 1000% worth it, and you will be able to change your life if you are fully committed.
Angelica.
Bring out your light again. Like, a lot of women their lights have been dimmed because of situations, and you know, a lot of things have happened to them, and this kind of work will just bring that inner glow from within, and you will look even more beautiful than you had all the surgeries.
I love it. Janice.
You playing small does not serve the world. So it's time to give yourself permission to dream a big life.
I love
Mic
you,
drop.
ladies. I know, like, yo, I know you want it. Here we go. That's it. Hey, okay, we had it. Seriously, thank you so damn much. Thank you for showing up. Thank you for saying yes to yourself. Thank you for doing the work. Thank you for crying and pulling out the bullshit. Thank you for being an example in the community, because one person's not going to change this shit. We do it together. And if I don't see you, I don't feel welcomed. If I don't see you, I don't get permission. If I don't see you, I don't know that I can. Si ella puede, tú puede. Like when you can, I can. And I genuinely, you are like, I'm inspired by you. I'm grateful that you said yes to this invitation of vulnerability and sharing your story. To everybody listening or watching this, go follow them. Don't believe me. Go follow them. Go watch these women live their lives. They are so incredible. And I am honored to do this thing called personal development and life with you. So thank you so fucking much.
Thank you. Thank you for creating this space.
Thank you, Erica.
All right, my love, if you resonate with any of this and you are freaking ready to make it happen and join us in the hood, click the link in the show notes. We would love to support you in changing your life. Thank you so much for listening. I so appreciate your ears, your time, your energy, and your attention. Please do me a favor and head over to Apple iTunes, subscribe so that you don't miss an episode. Share this episode with a sister who you know needs to hear it. And if you feel called to, leave me a review. I'd love to know what you think about the podcast. I'd love to know how this information is helping you change your world. Thank you so much for being here. I know that there are many podcasts you could listen to, and I really appreciate you listening to mine. Have a gorgeous week, honey.